let's make chicken Alfredo stuffed spaghetti squash. Hey you guys, it's your girl MK. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make this stuffed chicken Alfredo spaghetti squash. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know I won't be making this again because it was difficult. It is a really good recipe, a healthy recipe, but the spaghetti squash gave me a hard time, and I'm gonna show you guys how hard of a time it gave me. But the recipe is really good. I also forgot to season the Alfredo sauce, but it turned out I didn't need to. It was good anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys this recipe. I hope you guys enjoy it. And as you guys can see, the spaghetti squash was super hard to cut. I didn't even know where to start. So if anybody knows how to cut a spaghetti squash, comment below and let me know how to do that, because I was struggling, you guys. I actually ended up having to grab a different knife, and I grabbed a Cutco knife, my sharpest knife. It was my grandma's knife, and it's supposed to cut through anything, right? But y'all, I was struggling. So if you guys do know how to cut a spaghetti squash, please tell me, because other than that, I'm not gonna make this again because I don't know how to cut the spaghetti squash. Now, once I finally got it open, I took some of the seeds from the top out, and you're gonna coat the sides with some olive oil. I just used some Great Value olive oil. It really doesn't matter, but you wanna coat the sides, and then you're gonna face them face down on, you can do a baking sheet or you can do some foil. And then I cooked them for 35 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit in the oven, and that softens it up so you'll be able to scoop the insides out of it. Now, while that is cooking, you will be making your chicken, and I like to season the chicken with pink Himalayan salt, and I only seasoned one side of the chicken, and I did this after tenderizing the chicken. So this is chicken breast, and they're thinned right now. I also use some garlic powder, and if you want to use garlic in the sauce, you can instead of garlic powder, but I didn't feel like fooling with the garlic. Then I use black pepper, and I put quite a bit of black pepper just because if y'all have seen in my previous videos, I love me some pepper. Then you're gonna use some Larry seasoned salt, and I just love the way that that seasons chicken, and if you want to, you can also put that in the sauce. And then you just continuously flip the chicken for a while. Now, if y'all have watched my previous videos of me cooking chicken, whenever I shred my chicken, I like to cook my chicken a little bit, shred it, put it back in the pan, and cook it some more. But we're gonna continuously cook this chicken and flip it over until it's pretty decently cooked. Now, in another pot, I do have some spinach simmering, getting ready for the sauce. You do not have to include spinach, but I just wanted that just as something a little bit extra healthy, just not even for the flavor, just for the health benefits. Now I'm moving the chicken off the burner to shred it, and I'll speed this up so y'all don't have to watch me shred, and I'll only shred one of these, maybe two on camera, but I do like to shred them and cook them some more just so that the inside is fully cooked. And you guys know I am 6 months pregnant, so I'm not fat. That's why my stomach's sticking out. I am 6 months pregnant. So I like my meats to be completely cooked. I like them pretty well done. That's why I'm shredding it so that the insides can get cooked pretty good. Now to start on the sauce, I'm going to be using milk. I don't have any heavy whipping cream, so milk works. And I have made another Alfredo sauce in another recipe on YouTube before if you guys wanted to use that sauce, but I'm making another homemade sauce from scratch. Now we're going to use some grated Parmesan, some Parmesan, and that I don't ever measure, honestly. If you have too much sauce, you have too much sauce. If you don't have enough, you can make some more. It's pretty easy to make. And the Parmesan, I end up putting more. Same with the flour. The flour just thickens it. And honestly, it really just depends on how quickly it thickens, because the longer it sits there, it's going to thicken more. So it really just depends on your preference, how much flour and Parmesan you want to put. Now, I did forget to season the sauce, but honestly, by the end, once I started eating on it, it did not need any extra seasonings. But if I was to season it, I would just add pink Himalayan salt, a little bit of Larry salt, and then some oregano or Italian seasoning. And then I would also put some minced garlic, but I put garlic on the chicken, so you wouldn't have to put minced garlic in this. Now you just want to whisk it continuously here and there until it gets pretty decently thick. If you want yours more runny, then I wouldn't whisk it as much and don't let it simmer as long. But I like it to be a little bit more thick, so I let it simmer quite a bit, and the cheese with the milk thickens pretty well. Also, my husband popped in the camera. He had to cut another spaghetti squash for me. I had two. I could not cut it. Now, also for this sauce, I like to add in some chicken broth. I did not do that in the other Alfredo sauce that I made, but this one I like to add just because it adds a little bit of a salty flavor to the squash once it's ready. And I'm typically not even a spaghetti squash fan, but this was a really, really good recipe. Once you get your spaghetti squash out of the oven, you're going to want to take the seeds out and then scoop out the insides, but keep the insides that you scoop out. Now, those of you who are like, girl, I don't know how you do anything with your nails. This is why I have nails, y'all. I'm able to do this without burning myself, and I feel like nails are an extension of my body without hurting me. So that's why I got my nails done. But I did most of the scooping off camera just because I'm telling y'all, these spaghetti squashes gave me such a hard time. Like, if y'all know how to deal with spaghetti squash, let me know down in the comments, please. I did not know how to deal with this. But you want to throw away the seeds in the top part that's a little more gooey. I threw that away, and then I like to keep the insides, and I'll show you guys. Keep the fresh insides that's more like the spaghetti part of the spaghetti squash, and you're going to pour that into your sauce. You're going to also pour the chicken into your sauce, but you want to pour this into your sauce, and that helps to make it to where it's more like an Alfredo with noodles. And then the chicken as well, and that adds some protein. And spinach doesn't have to be part of the recipe, but I do like to add that just for the nutrition. Now, once you get the mixture stirred up real well, you're gonna scoop that into the spaghetti squash as some bowls. And you can scoop out more of the spaghetti squash. I could have easily scooped out more of that, but I kind of like to do that as I eat, and I just put the sauce on top because it is more like a bowl now. So you're gonna keep them scooped, and I like to keep my oven on while I'm doing all of this, by the way, and it's still at 400 degrees. So you're gonna scoop all of this. I filled them up pretty full. It's really just your own preference whether or not you want them super full or you want it as kind of a more deep dish or a more shallow dish. That's all up to you, but I scooped them pretty full, and I made it a little bit more deep as well, so you get quite a bit of the filling, which is pretty good for you because it's got that spinach, the milk, and the chicken as well. And there's quite a bit of nutrition in spaghetti squash too. Now on top of the spaghetti squash, we'll be using shredded mozzarella cheese. And girl, I put a lot of cheese, I'm not gonna lie. When it came to that cheese, I did not hold back. So we're gonna put mozzarella cheese on top of all of it. And honestly, I tried to cover the entire thing to where you could not see any of the sauce left over. But it's honestly your own preference, and if you don't want to put cheese, you don't have to. And you can cook it for 15 minutes at 400 degrees. If you want to cook it longer, you can, just for the cheese to brown, but I did not cook it long enough for the cheese to brown. I just cooked it to where it would cook the spaghetti squash in a little bit more and melt the cheese on the top. Chicken Alfredo stuffed spaghetti squash.